And it's yet another Red Leaf Retrocast wrestling episode here. And yes, I got to pour this beer because, my God, been quite a weekend. I wanted to get this out before the Labor Day weekend, but time did not allow it. And I just got done doing yard work, one of the least favorite things I can imagine doing. So, taking a nice cold shower, cracking a beer, getting the rest of this podcast out and recorded before the all-out pay-per-view from AEW. And yes, Rickee and I will be doing later in the show a complete preview of All Out and feelings on AEW post All In. Again, if you're looking for that All In full review, that is actually over on the Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast, for a full scope live reaction review over the All In show. Very much disagreeing with the main event, the Adam Cole MJF match. I'll be getting to golf and bowling talk pretty soon here as my cat leaves the couch. I guess he's not into that because he knows when I go and do those things, I'm away from him. I'll be heading into the Joshi section of the podcast, in which, well, lots to talk about, from Ice Ribbon running a Korakuen, Seedling running a Korakuen. If you're looking for Stardom Grand Prix talk, every single show out is over on the Patreon, that Jaguar Nagayo tier. I'll be getting into more of Patreon plugs later, but we'll be doing a brief, like super brief preview of the Hiroshima show, which happened, as I record, very early this morning. I'm sure if I look on Twitter right now, we'll be having results going on as I speak, but so not much for a preview there, but regardless, getting that out of the way. Let's see, going down my list here. There's the Legends show, briefly talk about there. Then we got some news all across the Joshi spectrum. Just a little bit to dive into. And then from there, it's AJW finishing off the Budokan show from August 1994 in a Part 3 spectacular that I've turned that into. Following along with the AJW Classics, you can easily find online. Specifically, the Internet Archive is a great place for that. Very much looking forward to talking about that one. And after that, it is the All Out preview, as discussed, and WCW Nitro post Sold Out 2000. Yes. My depressing years of watching WCW Nitro continues on, started in January 1998, post Starrcade 97, and I'm in the year 2000 now. What a ride it's been. It's not getting any better. So with that, I think it's time I lay into a little bit of the sports talk in my personal little life as I get my nice little drop ready. Here we go. Okay, you can play now.
Venus Life 鮮やかな希望は空を切って右手に野望掲げる笑顔青春ストーリーは今始まったばかり My Venus.
Okay. I do like how it says Venus a lot, because I guess I am a Club Venus fan, but here we go. Little golf, little bowling. Megan Kang took the field away at the Canadian Open, despite a very game home country hero, Brooke Henderson, wearing glasses. So she was heavy in the media, very much the favorite to come out of this tournament, but Megan Kang really, really broke away from the pack. Even with finally, we got top card Jin Young Ko making a good run there. But as we saw here, and the final stretch a week later at the Portland Open, which actually just finished watching this morning here, Much like Celine Boutier, Kang got on a hot streak and won again. So back-to-back wins for Megan Kang, and that solidifies her spot in the Solheim Cup. So good golf still to watch on, despite the last major happening not too long ago. In my personal news, my golf league ended. I got a T9 out of 20 people, so nope, not bad for a beginner, guys. Very much am proud of, even though I did struggle in the mid-50s for a little while there. I did have a few good outings, and I improved as the summer went on in the league. And for me to come out kind of in the middle of the pack is, I think, an accomplishment for myself and my progress. And then something I've been really looking forward to is the My Golf Spy golf ball test results, and those came out. And yeah, I mean, nothing beats like a Pro V1 and those kinds of things. Chrome Soft X, those are all the kind of go-to balls at the top of the card. But I still like my simple two-piece balls, like the Wilson Duo Plus. Don't think I'll be getting the Wilson Soft Duo, because that just didn't score well as the Duo Plus here. And there is a significant difference when I'm hitting it, especially with my wedges and putting. But the Kirkland ball, their signature line, that's a superior ball at this point for me, and it's very affordable. It's a 3-piece. It does a lot more. It's incredible. So that's the biggest bang for your buck, in my opinion. And I think I'll be trying a lot of Srixon balls because they scored a lot better this year, specifically the Z-Star Diamond. So the better I get, the more advanced I'll be able to kind of manipulate these balls a little bit more, and I'll get to some of these examples of what I experienced and what I'm trying to do to get better. I finished cutting and installing my golf holes in my putting green at home I've made from scratch. Pictures are online on my Twitter, so go check that out. Completely filled the room, decorated it, sports pennants, wrestling stuff, so very much enjoy cooking and then hitting the putting green, and I'm getting a lot of knick-knacky stuff during the Labor Day sale here. So it's a fully functioning chip and putt training room. I love it at this point. So I mentioned kind of ball manipulation and club manipulation, and on past episodes I got some game improvement, super game improvement, these kinds of things. Modern technology is way better than the past. I've experienced that with bowling. More on that in a second. But I got a gap wedge, and I ended up getting a 1982 McGregor copper-plated blade set. 2-iron to pitching wedge, and the pitching wedge works perfectly as a gap wedge right in the middle of my bag. These things are in fantastic condition for the time, and I got this idea where, because coaches are very expensive, and if you understand what they're trying to tell you when you make a mistake, and when you know like how to adjust, and there's a lot of videos you can do online, and as long as you put in the practice, this is my theory anyways, and what personally works for me, and I can afford it, is, look, I got this iron set for $60, okay? And what this means is, if I don't hit this in the center of the club, it's going to do something wacky or less impactful than my game improvement irons that I currently play, and they'll go a little bit less. But if I strike the ball correctly, it's going to do what I've wanted it to do. And to me, that's real-time feedback, much like a coach. It's right. Okay, you're clearly hitting on the heel or the toe of the club. You need to adjust this way, and then I'll mark it down in like a notebook when I'm out in the field, and then I'll kind of look up, basic tips and tricks online. It's like, okay, if this is what I was doing, guys, I'm a huge nerd for these things. Between this and bowling and what you hear from me, this is just how I like getting better and improving, is marking things down, tracking my own stats. And what I found out is I generally strike the ball in the center of the club a lot more than I thought. And a quote-unquote bad hit is usually just to the toe end of the center, which is why it kind of drifts right a lot of the times. So I played a few rounds with these McGregor 82s. They're M80s, if you're looking up for the brand and you want to keep along with this. And so when it comes to a lot of the longer clubs and still my lack of, turning my hips, completing forward momentum, that's what I struggle with the most. So distance is still a little bit of an issue, but I'm kind of framing my game around that ineptitude and trying to make up for it in the under 90 yards area, right? I think earlier this, or middle this summer, when I was trying to increase at least my distance by 10 or 20 yards, I did accomplish that. And now I'm finding myself within that break point a lot more often rather than pumping it from 130 and 140 yards out to the green, and then it's like small chips in there. Now I have to develop my game from an area I'm not familiar with. And that's where the gap wedge idea came into, and I'm utilizing a lot of my irons from like 8, 9, pitching wedge, gap, 52, and the like. Obviously, the chip and putt I've made at home is also very advantageous to this learning experience with a little chip action net that I got on this thing. And why I brought up the golf balls earlier is, well, spin factor is very important once I've now gotten to that distance. Because before, hitting a two-piece ball like a Noodle or my Wilson Duo Plus, which is a lot better for that. Now it's trying to keep it on the green, manipulate the roll of it, trying to get a little backspin, coming out of bunkers, because now I'm falling more into greenside bunkers than I am fairway bunkers at this point, which is nice. So when it comes to getting something like a Kirkland, which has a lot of spin, very nice to putt with, Srixon balls, particularly the XV or the Z-Star Diamond, which I'm definitely going to pursue. There's also the Bridgestone Tour, not Tour X. It's like the BX series. They've improved their balls significantly from their E series to the point where now Bridgestone and Srixon, in the case of Bridgestone, it's their whole line. So you just got to find what ball fits you. While Srixon, it's more of the Z-Star and Z-Star Diamond area, much like a Chrome Soft and Chrome Soft X, where do you want more spin or not? Do you want more roll factor? And I think next season I'm going to invest in getting some of those. I haven't picked out the Bridgestone quite yet, but I know I'm going to pursue the Srixon Z-Star Diamond along with just having a boatload of Kirkland balls. Meanwhile, a lot of the balls I have left over from the season, they're going to be putting green practice during the winter, and I'm very excited for that. Now, bowling did start up. I'm back up Wednesdays and Thursdays with a day of practice. I'm doing one day less this year because I really burned myself out. And boy, oh boy, picking up a ball for the first time since the beginning of May, late April, really took a number on me, took a toll. I woke up the next morning. As I was bowling my third game, I was feeling fatigue and shoulder tiredness, and just imagine doing a ton of lunges only on one leg, and then you just haven't done that all summer. I was very sore in specific muscle areas and muscle groups, but I bowled a 736 on Wednesday, a 664 on Thursday, while being super tired. 2 different bowling alleys, 2 different league formats. The 736, I ended with a 257 game. Front 7, I bowled that with my brand new Hammer NV Tour, which, with today's technology, I can manipulate my hand and turn the ball at will, basically, while generally when I go back to my, we'll call it a softcore ball from the, late 90s to mid 2000s, they're pretty much made to turn in a specific way based on how you drill it. And if you go off that core, it's just not going to do anything. And that's a big advantage to, I guess, consistency. While even when you mess up, you're still kind of going to get that roll. While in modern technology, you're really going to have a better understanding and a better control of your hand and wrist and fingers coming out. So good start for me this season. Excellent, in fact, considering all my competition just never stops bowling, and they're always, in their tip-top shape and condition for it. So for me coming out and essentially averaging 232 out of the gate for the week, I'm very much very okay with that. So that's also going to come into play for recordings in the future. If something's got to be recorded on a Wednesday or Thursday, it's going to be super late, and obviously probably won't have time to edit it out in the particular fashion I want. Well, that's enough sports talk and personal talk. I got some Joshi shit to talk about, and there's a lot to get into for just interesting topics and thought pieces, I guess, for what's happening in the scene right now. And I'm trying to figure out what drop I should play for this. I haven't really played a TJPW drop in quite some time, I feel. I think I'm gonna just go with Rickee Tatsumi because she's been a very consistent factor in TJPW this year. Let's go.
抱きしめたい Say hello, say goodbye.
Okay, so where to begin with this? But I got this shit written down. Okay, so I got these things bookmarked. We're talking Sukeban. Okay? And if that means nothing to you and you're hearing this for the first time, or whatever, let me pull this up here because this is absurd. So that extremely hush-hush so-called Joshi promotion out of New York with the following players being signed to it: Ram Kaicho, Kaori Oniyama, Aoi, Tomoka Inaba, Unagi Sayaka, Maiki, All Caps Saki, Anchamu, YUU, Riko Kaiju, Saoriano, Arisa Nakajima, Risa Sera, Miyuki Takase, and then a mystery person. I think it's Hiroyo Matsumoto. I think that's what... so it's essentially the entire freelance scene is involved with this thing. They got groups. It's going to be this like anime delinquent type theme from the they claimed it was from like the 60s and 70s. Anime and the like was made popular during this time in the 80s and early 90s. Hell, you can go on Red Leaf Retrocast here and we've reviewed a number of different delinquent anime shows, particularly a women's focused one called Sukeban Deka. Ironically, we didn't do that too long ago. So for a so-called Joshi promotion coming out, possibly funded by Crunchyroll, which is where the funding comes into play. Let's see. Tickets went on sale September 1st at 10 a.m. I checked in on this like immediately. They were sold out within the hour, despite them saying it was 2 hours. I couldn't even get into it quick enough to get one. And then I even asked around to see if anybody had tickets to kind of give away or give to me, and it's just sold out, man. So it's off to a strong start in that sense. They announced in a email that was sent to me because I am signed up for this thing. It's just a little newsletter thing. They have costumes and art and anime art and the nails and all this, the whole costume thing. Made by a number of different people to name off that no one's ever heard of, but like anime dorks like myself. They said a championship title belt will be designed and created by a designer by the name of Mark Newson. This is a name I'm not familiar with at all. The thing where I'm a little hesitant to see this, at least from a wrestling promotion perspective, is the tagline is essentially comedy. It's going to be more on the comedic side throughout. And look, when you're doing a delinquent anime wrestling show, I can't imagine a scenario where it wouldn't come across as hilarious. If we somehow get good matches out of it, I will be pleasantly surprised. I mean, you bet your ass I am covering this on the Patreon. There was no doubt. It is going to be on that Jaguar Nagayo tier, $5, and I'm going to cover every single bit of that. Because, look, it's retro anime themed with Joshi freelancers coming to the United States, possibly being distributed on Crunchyroll. How could I not cover it and just take it all in as like some Joshi underground operation? Okay? So it's off to a good start. It has a lot of intrigue with a lot of the fan base, and it kind of goes to show you that if you amass a talent roster together like they have, with a assumed stable piece of funding for these people to get paid, it's gonna have the probably the second or third biggest interest in the Joshi fandom. And, you know, if you're a women's wrestling fan, you better get interested or at least intrigued for at least checking out episode 1, is what I'm going off of. Now, how will this impact their freelance bookings post this date? That's coming into a lot of question with contracts and stuff. Whether it's the various promotions out west on the West Coast through LA to all the way to Prestige. That comes into question for even their domestic operations, where what does this mean for Seedling, Oz Academy, and the like? Are they just not going to be on these cards? And it's gonna. I feel I have a theory that if this is going to be more of a long-term thing, how will this impact those promotions when they're trying to fill cards out? You know, is it just going to consist of the people that kind of weren't invited to this thing? I guess it remains to be seen. So what is going on the Patreon? Since you're here listening to the Joshi section, I imagine that you might be interested in what's happening over there. It is a lot of historical women's wrestling, Joshi wrestling content. The Joshi 2010s tier is exactly what it sounds like. Yes, free episodes do go out on delay on the AJW Destiny podcast feed. That is more of like preserving history, getting the information out there over a lot of these wrestlers' pasts. How were they booked? How did the shows do? What matches were great? And really, your contribution on that tier is simply helping fund the DVDs to be acquired, the ISO files, if the DVDs can't be, or if that's the only way, and maintaining the Google Drive where a lot of these shows are found. That's what it's for. Over on the $5 tier, the Jaguar Nagayo tier, that's where everything goes down. Whether it's, I guess we're starting the AEW live reaction reviews. Perhaps we'll expand on that since quite a few new people subscribed during even just the all-in review. There's 2 monthly podcasts that go on the $5 tier. One is the retro LLPW reviews, which now I have created a Google Sheet, Excel sheet with everything that's lined out for what's going to be covered, what could possibly be covered, and links to where all the shows and matches can be found. I've also included a lot of written piece articles that have been done over the years from various sites. Put their links in that same sheet, whether it's perspectives on wrestlers within LLPW, history perspective. And I am going to expand further upon that with most people speak English, and by the accounts, what I've been able to find through Weekly Pro and comparing it side by side to the Wrestling Observer, whenever information comes out about LLPW, the Observer gets everything translated basically from Weekly Pro. I would put the percentage extremely high at 90+%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link various Observer articles as source material for what I talk about a lot in that on those episodes, in the content, and it will follow along. I'll put it by year, and then I'll have whatever article has pertinent information to LLPW. So that Google Sheet is going to be very prime and important going forward. And if you're following along, that can get you links to a lot of the YouTube sites with the shows, or Internet Archive, which has a ton, And then the Google Drive has a lot of DVDs I've acquired and ISO files I've acquired, and it sure looks like someone was grateful and interested enough to upload a good chunk of these shows to Internet Archive for LLPW. So $5 tier will get you into that podcast and following along, because let's face it, a lot of people just do AJW. Hell, even myself, I'm doing the AJW Classics journey, right? And I started in the fucking early 80s, and here I am years later now, almost 100 episodes into that thing, and LLPW was right there behind them. I can't say that in popularity sense or the like, but it was the third promotion, right? It was them, JWP, which people have seen, countless matches, but the drop-off from watching AJW to JWP is strong, and then the drop-off to LLPW is even stronger, and especially more so in the sense when Gaia and JD Star come up. And there's going to be years during this journey where I'm now in 1995, so you can follow along. It's post-Big Egg Wrestling Universe, and a lot of things went down. So the latest episode really covered what happened between Akira Hokuto and Kandori, very CM Punk-esque at All In, as I compared it to. And it's done major damage to LLPW with what happened at Big Egg with Kandori and Hokuto, and then some backstage strife as well. So it does sound very familiar, doesn't it? So the first episode of 1995 kicks off with a bang, with that being discussed. And look forward to more of that as we go through 95. And 1996 is already looking like a dark, dark year for the promotion. After a year of, listen to the episode and you'll hear why. The other podcast monthly is with JPQ. We do Pure J, the very, very small indie Joshi promotion. We do a monthly cast on them. And that's just a ton of fun to do with him. He likes to troll me with opinions over Cherry, and it's just nice following along a very small promotion, the former JWP rebranded, and just trying to see what happens on the indie scene from a very low budget perspective, and how they get treated, what the booking has caused, how to use freelancers. And they just had a Cork and Hall a few weeks ago, and the latest episode going out shortly after this one, hopefully, is going to cover that Cork and Hall from August, and then a couple of the house shows that followed. And of course, where would I be without mentioning all the Stardom 5-Star 2023 coverage is over there on the Patreon. Every single show to date is on there. Lots of good feedback, lots of people interested in following along with the 5-star, and what I have to say, it's not just this match was great and good. I also go over attendance perspectives, year-over-year basis, looking at the booking and what's happening, the scheduling, geographically, how Stardom is run, and of course, I'll go over if the matches are good. I got my recommendation scale. You can follow along. So a lot going on the Patreon. Let's get into some Stardom. And I gotta play a drop. So here we go. Okay. So when it comes to Stardom, and what's happened is the Hiroshima pay-per-view will be the next podcast. That is headlined by Mirai defending the white belt against almost hometown Konami. And already seen some talk about Hiroshima being run so close to the Konami homecoming date. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe she wins. I have my doubts. Maybe she announces she's coming back to Stardom full time. Also have my doubts, especially with the Kitsune announcement that she'll be heading on over to the left coast and wrestling there. And also the quite a few 5-star matches of interest, namely Utami versus Momo. And the New Japan Strong title defense of Julia versus Risa Sera. Ice Lore is back. Will Risa Sera deliver? Will it be diving into a little hardcore country, if you will, from the newly divorced Risa Sera, or will be getting divorced? I got to question her mentality going into the match. She's definitely been more absent as of late due to personal reasons. So it's going to be interesting to see if she's mentally there, because that is a factor. I mean, it affects us all when you got shit going on personally and then you got to go to work. And maybe you don't put in your A game, but maybe she's one of those people that can put that behind her and she finds more motivation to just dive into work completely. But, you know, Julia had that U match. That didn't help very well. A lot of people were down on that match. Hopefully Julia can get a bounce-back performance with this one against Risa Sera. So, New Blood happened. Look, they got 361. It's about par with what it usually gets. Not much to truly dive into there. Supposedly they're going to take New Blood to the western parts of the country. That goes into more of what I've been talking about on the Patreon with the 5-star discussion over geographically expanding. I'm not sure New Blood is the right idea there, but I guess if you want to, I guess if you're going to pull in 200 to 300 people, no matter what, for these New Blood shows, I could see getting outside Tokyo, going to regions where they just want to see some wrestling, and you get 200 to 300 people, maybe 400 on a great day, and you can just pump out your rookies and get them reps. I could see the strategy there. I guess we'll see what happens when they run their first New Blood show outside of where they usually have. Look, I enjoy these shows. There's not a lot of discussion coming out of them. I mean, I can just quickly run through the matches here. So it's Hanoka Kizunataka defeats Amisure, Nanami, and Miron. It was fine. And here's the thing. All these matches are like 3 stars or a little lower, as we've become accustomed to, okay? Kohaku defeats Lady C. And they're all like 7 minutes, except the final 2. They're all not very long. Meisera Suzuki defeat Hanan and Hina. Natsupoi defeats Pineapple Girl. Saori Ano defeats Miyu Amasaki. And Nanai Takahashi defeats Saya Ida. Not sure why that's the semi-main. I probably would have switched Amasaki and Ano, because Amasaki has more upside than Saya Ida. And then Rina, with a new coat, looking like a bigger star, defeats Waka Tsukiyama in a 14-minute, dear God, what is this doing as a main event type kind of match. Waka don't got it. I guess we'll see what's up their sleeve for future shows. As for the Legend show, you know, Midsummer Olds, what do you want me to say? Momo Nakanishi, she's great. She pulled out fucking moonsaults from the to the top to the outside. Commentary's going nuts. And the rest of this can just kick rocks. You know, 1653 at Oda, which did less than the Osaka pay-per-view. Legends Intrigue clearly got a different kind of audience. They were into them and not the Stardom wrestlers. It was very bizarre watching it. Hopefully this pays off, and Stardom didn't waste their money putting on this kind of show. Instead of signing someone like Inaba or people like her. What I will say is, God, I hope Tam Nakano just went into save face cutting that promo on Kandori, who just did not have any interest in selling, did not have any interest in putting anyone over, even in the I will beat up and then sell for you sense. And then Kandori's cutting, you know, interviews of, well, I don't know, if they want a red belt match with me, I guess I'll do it. Look, this woman hasn't had a recognizable good match in 25 years, let alone a singles match. I really hope that doesn't happen. I think she hasn't put anyone over, like, in the sense of just losing a singles match since, like, Kyoko Inoue in the mid-2000s. That's what we're dealing with here. I'm just going to go right back into the Joshi indie scene before I get to the eventual... you know what? I will do this. I will do it. Why not? I'm gonna rest my throat a little bit, play a drop, and then we'll be back. And since I mentioned Risa Sera, I'll play her drop anyways. Okay, so Ice Ribbon losing more people. They lost 2 rookies. They lost Kiku, the 50-year-old housewife deal, to Hot. And Asahi's Ice Ribbon contract has expired, so again, IR losing even more talent. And like I said, we still don't know the extent to which they can still fall. Okay? You look at this poster and the roster that's on it, it's no wonder they are booking things with the help of like Gambari, Joshi, and JTO. It's probably the only talent they can afford at this point in time. So yeah, anybody that kind of said that is naive to the fact of what Ice Ribbon's going through, well, I guess I said what I meant to. So with that said, IR ran Corkin for Ice and Wonderland, their big August show, annual basis. They got a questionable looking 504 for the attendance for the Ibuki title win over Yuri. I have no reason to really truly believe that this number's fake, like an Oz Academy number. From what I could tell, it just looked like everyone got the cheapest seats imaginable and filled up the back, right? Because that front end for the good ticket seats wasn't filled as even I'm used to seeing for Ice Ribbon. I think this promotion is hemorrhaging money still, and by the looks of it, it's either not being able to maintain talent, how easily they let Asahi go, and how unhappy she was clearly with the promotion. And then when you mention, oh, well, they're pumping out rookies, it's like, okay, but Joshi promotions tend to pump out rookies every once in a while across the board. It's, do they stay? Do they want to maintain being a wrestler? It's what, and odds are they're probably not going to get pushed for at least 4 to 7 years. So they got to be here a long time for them to make finally an impact, even in the mid-card, right? Let's see these people stay for a few years, and then we'll start talking about how, oh my god, they're doing so well, and this isn't just Ice Ribbon, this is kind of everybody. Okay? So on the positive side, it's the first time for a non-Ribbon Mania or retirement show that they've broken 500 since the vacant title tournament in June last year. Okay? I mean, I guess technically that's only, 2 in between minus the Ribbon Mania, but the point stands. Before that were Prime Pandemic numbers, which is a different breakdown at this point. Comparatively, they're up from 409 earlier this year, which is good. But now for the bad. This is still a poor number, okay? I don't pretend like these things are good for Pure J. I don't pretend they're good things for seaD when they dip this low. And it's still the lowest Korakuen total for a promotion's highest mark show of the year versus the other companies. And that's like Pure J, Seedling, hell, even Wave have better Korakuen draws this year, which goes into why, what is Ice Ribbon doing currently? Well, you look at this card, it's based around their supposed next gen trying to win both the top title and the tag titles, and the build, it's not good, right? It's pretty much absented throughout the summer. We have this semi-main event of the tag titles in a three-way. Yeah, a three-way, where Yanagawa and Kagura of JTO defeat a random duo of Akari and Yappy, and defeating the current tag champ, or former champs of The Ham and Makoto. It goes right back to some outsiders. And then you had the Infinity title match of Ibuki Hoshi reaching the top, I think too late, against Yuri. The tag title match went 20 minutes. The Infinity title match went just under 22. Yeah, they threw some chops, they threw some forearms, which was nice. I went 1 out of 3 on it. It was totally fine and acceptable. It's just not gonna meet that high end, right? If you're into Joshi Indies and you're into the scene and you want to see something that's not TJPW and Stardom, yeah, check this match out. Can't really recommend the tag match at all. However, it's just like I said before, on prior podcasts. Ibuki Hoshi should have won this title last year or from Sauriano. And any other time outside of actually booking her strong to get to this point wasn't going to get the reaction, and it wasn't going to get the people truly behind her, right? She is the hope of this promotion at this point. For her to beat the outsider, you get the story, but it's not like Yuri is this, huge champ to overcome. The huge outsider to overcome was Saori Ano, right? Especially in the sense that Ano beat Yuki Mashiro in the finals. Ibuki couldn't make it there. Then Totoro is the one out of nowhere winning because I guess they have no one else to put at the top of the card, and that's a bad sign. So you're left with Ibuki Hoshi just kind of slotted in to this Yuri defense, and she just wins. Just the momentum wasn't there. And honestly, she should have lost. She should have lost, and they could have run this back in 4 months at Ribbon Mania, where you're going to have the most people, hopefully, at that show, see an Ice Ribbon. That's when you want to have the big shifting change, right? Is this promotion going to be any different for the next 4 to 5 months with Ibuki or Yuri on top? I don't think they are. I don't think there's a difference. So I thought it was a poor timing for a title change, even though the person is correct. It's just not right. It's kind of a similar sense of when Mizuki won in TJPW. So I don't expect this run to be anything remotely special, and that's unfortunate. As for news with other companies, TJPW announced a documentary project, as I will pull this up, because it's pretty interesting. TJPW, my God, let me drink some beer here. Okay. TJPW announced that a new program, Next Generation, will stream on their YouTube channel. It's produced by staff of Dream on the Ring, which was also on TJPW's streaming last year. They're gonna have 4 episodes airing September 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th, and October 4th over the following wrestlers: Arisa Endo, Wakana Urihara, Haru Kazuhiro, Shino Suzuki, and Moka Miyamoto, in that order of release date. It's supposed to be about people who have never won a title in TJPW, so they're really getting into the lower end wrestlers, and that it's going to be interesting. I wonder how much is going to be English subtitled, or any subtitles for that matter. Will they do it themselves? Because look, I might as well get into this because there's just nothing with TJPW until Wrestle Princess, right? No new stars are being made yet again. And guys, it's been 4 years of this, okay? And if you're going to be focusing on this new generation, they got to start fucking winning. They got to start beating these people, right? Maki Ito's, doing Maki Death Kill things and cutting up Frank the Clown in Chicago with a pizza cutter, when if your overall goal is to try to push the new gen, why isn't Endo or Mocha or somebody in something rivalry-istic with Maki Ito, using one example, okay? And Maki losing at Wrestle Princess to said person, or, whatever. As for Diana, Oz, Marvelous, whole lot of nothing here, post all of this nonsense that went on throughout August. Sendai ran their annual Sendai show with Kairi in a tag doing house show mode, making T-shirt Naito proud. What a tremendous waste of a comeback, in my opinion. Yeah, there's some good tags, but what did we really get out of it? No wonder Stardom stopped working with her. I expect she'll do one more nothing tag in Stardom and head back to WWE, as was the plan. She can also lose to Charlotte and be booked poorly, and looking like a chump. So, new champ, Millie McKenzie, nothing mid-card singles, and your by-the-numbers usual main event, with Chihiro winning as her and you beat Hiroyo and Dash. Look, I am so not moved by Sendai. I've been on here essentially since day one of this podcast. Just Sendai does nothing for me, especially Chihiro Hashimoto, in which she just kind of throws a suplex, calls it a day. Right? I'm just not. So, I gotta play this drop because, well, needs to be done. Because now we get to do something really fun. Seedling 8th anniversary from August 25th, 2023. 702 people at Corkin Hall. Look, they got a main event that people wanted to see. And the Saori comeback has, I have to preface this every time. I am not a huge Saori fan, but goddammit does she not bring it when she needs to, okay? I thought this was built great. Now, yeah, you had to go out of your way to watch some Saoriism shows. You had the building show on the previous Seedling show with the tag with Saori and Arisa Nakajima, and it felt like there was going to be a title change going into the show. Okay? To get 702 people for promotion that at the beginning of 2023, with people leaving under dubious circumstances, and then Arisa being in programs with younger talent, yeah, getting Saori in here was a huge boost to the promotion, and I think there's been a lot of goodwill built up with giving people like Ayami Sasamura, Riku Kaiju, Kawahara, and the like something to sink their teeth into, and new talent brings new interest, right? You're not seeing Mayumi Ozaki pummel Arisa Nakajima like it's, 2016 or something? Or Bolshoi, or whichever. You're getting an important feeling main event on the indie scene as best you can, especially in 2023. The only thing that's going to hold this back is the fact that it took place in Seedling. Right? You're not getting Dave Meltzer to watch a Seedling show with Arisa and Saori in it, and other than him being told it was great, which it was, no doubt. It's at 66 votes upon recording on Cage Match, and if I was a betting man, that would be the largest voting count of any non-Stardom and TJPW Joshi match of the year. And with good reason, because it's an all-timer of the decade so far, right? It's gonna make people's lists come year end, as it should, and it's gonna make my list. I am currently torn between the Tam Nakano-Julia match from earlier this year in Stardom and this one. It's a 1-2 punch as far as I'm concerned. And honestly, I'm also comparing that Saya Kamitani-Hazuki match. And they're all for entirely different reasons of each other. Where this one stands out is it's like we took back the clock to 2005, Misa Genki, Azumi Hyuga, Yoshiko Tamura. We got that style of match and character work and just big boss feeling wrestling, right? Saori's trying to work the arm of Arisa, and Arisa's trying to fight back, and they're doing double stomps off the turnbuckle to the floor, which scared the shit out of me. They're doing apron spots, they're headbutting, they're forearming people, leaving it with thuds. It's just physicality that you just simply don't see enough of in women's wrestling. We're going to get to AJW here in a little bit, but this was the kind of match that really gets your blood pumping. It's 27 and a half minutes. Love the length. It really felt like it was important. And we need so much more of this in the Joshi scene as a whole. We need the importance in physicality to come back here. Why does Julia Tam stand out to me so much? Why does that mean so much in the grand scheme? Well, it was physical as well. It was extremely important with the big red belt on the line, right? And it was physical in the sense of the rivalry. Could there be more done with Arisa and Saori over a period of time? Yeah, maybe. That's kind of nitpicking. I mean, I didn't go 5 stars on this, but I was pretty close, right? It's up there from the in-ring perspective. And I thought the build was pretty good, right? This is what I want to see more of out of the indie scene. And I'm very curious to what this Saori Seedling title run is going to be now. Is she going to go beyond the sea, beyond the mat with it, or is she just going to sink and pull like a Veni in Sendai, where she just, defends it once and then loses it right back to Arisa or some like nonsensical person in which they're not even booked all that strongly, right? I'm hoping the former of what I said. I would love a nice little long Suri run, continuing to run with seaDling for a little bit. Arisa can rest up, and they can do a lot more with this. So, all-timer type match here. Very much enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Obviously, it's a full 3, without question. As for the rest of the card, it's like every seaDling card I've ever seen. It's like every Sendai. It's a basic opening tag. You get the goofy La Pedita Kaho against Kekaru match, which, high-speed loser wears a mask deal. La Fresas with Mima Shimoda coming in. Why wasn't she on that Legend show? I don't know. Defeat Aoki, Mio Momono, and Misa Kagura. So Mio Momono really on the losing end, getting super over here, even on seaDling. And Sasamura and Kaiju maintain and defeat the Maya Yukihi Natsu Sumire team in under 20 minutes. This Natsu Sumire's got to stop. She's when she was an undercarder in Stardom, she was very enjoyable. She had the much less pedantic, questionable gear choice, right? And she's brought that to mid and upper cards on these indie shows. And when you make an entire match around her, it's not going to be good. And there's like a good 3-minute sequence in this where it's Sumire against Sasamura and Kaiju, and they just crawl to a stop, a hold, and there's even a point where they literally do not know what to do next because they're so lost. Which is a shame. I would like to see more of Mayuki, but I guess I'll have to watch Crunchyroll in order to see her wrestle important matches without shtick. Okay. Arisa Nakajima, all-time great. I'm really going to have to evaluate what I think of a lot of these wrestlers in the top 50 women's wrestlers of all time list, because there was also that like Becky Lynch Trish Stratus match that happened in the cage, which I thought was like fine. I was mostly bored, but a lot of people really loved that. Is Becky Lynch going to be on that list at some point? I don't know. But Arisa Nakajima, I'm really going to have to take a hard look on. I'm learning more and more about her on the Joshi 2010s journey. I've seen scattered matches prior to her like late stage JWP and early seaDling run, but seeing her come back on the Joshi 2010s, that's definitely a dark area for me, and seeing it play out in real time is interesting. So go follow along there, and let us get into that AJW. Here we go. Started this a number of years ago now. We're at this Budokan show titled Budokan Restuden Max in August of 1994. We're on the Build to the Dome, and this show just really reminded me how much I love Devil Masami. So with that, I'm going to play quite a few of her songs. So here we go. We're going to go a trifecta drop here. So enjoy some music. And there you go. Let's get into that, because we're on the last two matches from the Budokan here in 1994. Cutie Suzuki, Takako Inoue, taking on Candy Okotsu and, you heard it, Devil Masami. Match went 17 minutes, 15 seconds. It was like fourth from the top or something. And for a time, I thought it stole the show. Feuding and rival idols Takako and Cutie teaming up against the JWP's dominant veteran monster and their best rookie in Candy Okotsu, whom, by the way, is in incredible shape. Okay? She does not skip any gym days. Those shoulders, those legs, whew! She ain't slowing down this match. The start is great, as Takako demands Devil, charges her with shots, till Devil headbutts her skull for prime CTE goals. It's all double team attempts on Devil, but she counters and just power bombs them into each other, and there was a lot of power bombs. Oh, I love a Devil power bomb. Truly marvel of a dominant force against two idol-type wrestlers. They are all throwing bombs, while Candy is simply trying to keep the pace, not get in Devil's way, though she does a few times. Takako just has enough, and gets nose-to-nose her in this match, and the crowd goes nuts. And funny enough, can't help but notice Takako and Masami are very similar in height, but the projection is so much more on the side of Devil. There's that star presence factor in owning the ring, okay? Devil owns this ring in the 80s, then, now, and forever. Even the heat segments for Devil was just outstanding, standing on Cutie's face and taunting her, taunting Takako. So good to watch. And eventually, this spills to the outside for a good old-fashioned table brawl, okay? This is the shit I'm talking about, versus what happens today, okay? Here we have Devil and Takako establishing early on their hatred in the ring, and boom. They're doing ring bell shots to the chest. They're getting hammers and hitting each other in the face. Cutie is slammed onto the table. It's not just, okay, gonna throw you in some chairs and call it a day. Or if they're in Korakuen, they'll go do the sign spot. This feels like real heat and means something. All the while, Candy and Cutie are in the ring, still trying to win. Suplex exchanges galore. Candy hits a running top rope with Northern Lights suplex. That was rad. They're German suplexing each other, but Cutie dives in, and so Devil jumps off with a guillotine leg drop onto her while she's on top of Takako. I thought that was a phenomenal, like, you just see all the pictures start going off in the audience, right? God, I miss that kind of stuff. And from there, it's a hot finishing stretch with back and forth near falls. Finally, we get to Devil missing a guillotine leg drop on Takako, and Cutie dives in with a straight jacket and dragon suplex on Candy. Then, finally hits that plancha off the same corner as Takako uses her flying knee a la Norio Tateno for the win. Great match. Full 3. This show is fucking great, I said to myself. I went 4.25 stars on this little tag match here. Take your pick. This is great interpromotional work with established story, motivation in the ring. I thought they nailed it out of the park. It had everything I wanted to come into the match, coming out, and I just think Devil Masami's an all-timer, right? Every time you see her, she just more than delivers, and she's in the prime of her career. Maybe a little on the slowdown yet, but you kind of don't tell. And it really gets me curious, as we go through, post-94 Tokyo Dome, where does Devil Masami and JWP land? What's the Gaia movement going to do? What's Jaguar Yokota doing with JD Star when that starts up? There's a lot of questions. And where does Devil Masami fall in? Because she's very much a top star of the era, like the rest of them. She was there with Jaguar, Dump, tail end of the big start of the Crush Gals, right? That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I look for. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. So yeah, Devil Masami, all-time great. We move on to the main event. Dangerous Queen, Final Countdown, Pre-Dome Survival Elimination Tag Match. God, I love to laugh at these taglines they give some of these matches in AJW. Super funny. It is Aja Kong teaming with Akira Hokuto, taking on Dynamite Kansai and Yumiko Hota. The Observer gave this 4.5 stars. And you know what? I guess we'll see what I think at the end. Okay? This match immediately had big match feel and heat based on those involved. Kansai has really come into her own over the last 2 years during this interpromotional era. Kong is finally looking like a true main eventer after 93, what felt closer to kind of a protected upper to mid-card person, even though she's the champion. It's just been focused on other people, not her. Hokuto is still the biggest star, putting together the best and most important matches. There's no doubt there. Hell, look at this one. And she's really making her retirement tour a must-watch. And look, I'm not the biggest Hota fan. Probably never will be. I was always told that she's going to break out eventually in the mid-90s. Well, I can kind of say here we are. Hota's been kept strong all year for stuff like this. And ever since that bloody hand match, she's found a new confidence and a stride to her game. She's no longer doing a lot of that stuff that irritated me about her. She's a real player. She's finally feeling like a Yumiko Hota and not a Chigusa Nagayo clone. Okay? She's a real player in 1994 here. So hype levels for this match are there. Everyone but Hokuto seems to be sporting yellow and blue on this show. I think even Takako and a couple other people were doing that. So just a strange observation I had. But I love the Kansai shove into Hokuto, where Akira just smirks, and it's like celebrity deathmatch. Let's get it on! Kind of vibes with right off the bat. Aja goes to blows with both Kansai and Hota. They're booting Hokuto all around the ring a bunch, and Aja tries to get her shit in to break it up. But this sequence at the start sealed it for me, and I was dialed in. Kansai tries a freaking double powerbomb, but Akira jumps in. She dropkicks Aja by mistake, and no shit, she left a fucking footprint on her face. You can see this thing. It's pretty rad. Hota's hitting a straightjacket pile driver for a 2 count, kind of our first major near fall. And I thought it was fall 1 immediately, because this is a 2 out of 3 falls match, and usually in the sense, at least, they did this a lot more in the 80s. They'd take advantage of this stuff. And fall 1 would always be super quick on the quote-unquote heel team, and then it was fighting back for the baby faces, and it lasted a little bit longer. Okay. And we'll go into that. It's more crazy back and forth. Aja hits that diving elbow of hers for yet another crazy 2 count near fall. Incredible stuff. And so fall 1 happens as such. Kansai counters a whip, throws Hokuto into Aja's Huracan. Kansai blocks a shot from Aja on the rebound, gets her on her knees, and no shit, Kansai punt kicks her in the face. Kong down! Kong down! Kong down! Ref's counting to 10. She tries to pull herself up from the ropes right before 10, but she falls on her ass. Kong down! She is considered KO'd at the 14-minute 12 mark, and I'm like, my fucking hell, what a first fall. My God. So now, she's out. That's Akira now left in a 2-on-1 situation, and the crowd knows this and is molten for Hokuto to stay in it. What a format brilliance there. I love this. It gets the biggest star in a situation where you get the crowd to even cheer for her harder than they already were. And Hota and Kansai are just playing these big, brooding kick machines that are going to whoop this woman 2-on-1. Many near falls, including a major one for Hokuto, hitting an ugly last gasp effort dangerous queen bomb on Kansai. And we get to Hota hitting a flying rolling kick to Kansai by mistake, so very, very much kind of like that first fall. Kansai is stunned, and Akira pounces on Hota, hitting the NLB, the Northern Lights bomb for 3. This came at 5 minutes later, so that'd be around the 19-minute mark. Also didn't look so great, but got her with the Northern Lights bomb. Hokuto solo running this shit. My God in science, Buddha. All the gods be praised. Praise be to Hokuto and her brilliance, and from here it's fall 3. And with Kong KO'd on the outside, basically, and Hota taken out by the NLB. Hota took a fastball from Hokuto right up on her chin. It's essentially a Hokuto Kansai singles match to finish this off. And I need this format in the modern era immediately. Okay? There's count-out teases for Hokuto on Kansai. There's lariats and counters. A counter of Splash Mountain into a dragon suplex that was rad. Last-ditch effort for Hokuto on a garbage-looking Splash Mountain for 2. Okay? That comes after Kansai is going for missile... that's where Hokuto's trying to missile dropkick. Yeah, I got this. And Kansai whips Hokuto off the top because she's trying those missiles and gets her up into another Splash Mountain, and like after that like garbage looking one, Akira's like clearly done outside of a miracle roll up. So Kansai hoists Hokuto up for a decisive Splash Mountain, and Akira is finished 10 minutes and 28 seconds later. 24 minutes 39 seconds total this 3 falls match went. Guys, Big Dave went 4.5. I went 5 stars on this. I thought this was a perfect tag match. And I love the format. It was so unique and interesting and kept me in it. Look at me giving Yumiko Hota a 5-star match. I have done it. The day has come. Thought nothing was going to top that devil tag, or even the lesser match between the Toyota Kyoko. But man, this show was just overall incredible. The selling in this post-match did not go on blind eyes either. Both Hota and Aja sold their essential knockouts for just minutes on end in the post-match, especially more so in Aja Kong, where it was a good 6 minutes before she was even ready to get up. Again, I need this in my modern era. The talent is there, so we just need the formatting and the selling to get up to beat in many ways. There's not enough Tam Julia types out there, and too much of the Chihiro types hitting a couple big suplex moves and calling it a day. Matches. You gotta have your rivalries, you gotta make your matches mean so much more, and you gotta translate that into the match. That's what makes Tam Julia special, and like every Chihiro match, not special. And I know I'm picking on Chihiro Hashimoto a lot lately. That's what I get out of her. And that's not what I get out of Tam Julia. Tam Julia is closer to the boom period era than most other feuds and rivalries you see in today's women's wrestling. That's what makes this great. So I thought this Budokan really delivered from the in-ring sense, especially kind of the top 4 matches on the card. It never ceases to amaze me how, even occasionally I'll get down here and there on what's happening, but we're on Road to the Dome, and Akira Hokuto's right on it. That'll do it for this episode of AJW Destiny, and we'll continue on into 1994. All right, so already had recorded the AEW All Out preview, and here I am bringing off the news of the CM Punk is fired train, and it's about fucking time. This guy was a cancer. This guy was nothing but troubles. He lasted about, 9 months, and once he got injured and once he was done with that Hangman Page promo, it's been nothing but headache ever since, and this promotion can't get over it. So, goodbye CM Punk, and all I gotta say to that afterwards is...
bye-poi! Bye-poi って何? Bye-poi! Bye-bye!
computer was buffering there for a second, but that's gonna sound weird when we get here. But I'll fix it as best I can. Whatever. Rickee, we're back. Talk more AEW. If you're looking for the all-in review or recap and our thoughts, well, gonna have to head on over to that old Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast. Rickee and I went an hour and a half direct live reaction after All In with good feedback from all the current subscribers. A good chunk of them responded. Really liked our main event discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very split reaction on what we thought of the main event between you and I.
Hey, go figure. You and I like different kinds of wrestling.
Well, at least when we get to WCW, we can hate everything equally.
Yes!
That'll be coming up later after not a lot of New Japan to talk about right now. I guess the biggest question of New Japan would be the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view that was announced.
Oh, yeah.
We missed that little announcement because we went on during the press conference. But Tony Khan, AEW, is doing a Inoki tribute show in Seattle in October. Yeah. So the pay-per-view business is expanding for AEW, which is always when you look at history of a promotion, when it comes to pay-per-views or running more big shows, it's always a sign of a healthy, making money type promotion, right?
Sure.
And with the exception of very few instances, the health is good, and it never really leads to a decline in the promotions, whether you want to call it a buy rate or something. What leads to declines is a poor product. That's what it is. You put out a product people want to see, they will pay money for it. Even if, I'll give an example. Stardom, Joshi promotion, people comment on their pay-per-view model being almost predatory at times because they run 20 or so a year at this point.
Okay.
But, in the grand scheme of things, the pay-per-views are just how often they run an important show, if you will. And I always stress this, like, if you subscribe to the service, it's going to go up there eventually for your, like, $5 a month. So is it a big deal? I always am on the other end of the spectrum there. You don't have to pay $50. There's an alternative way, right?
Right. Speaking of which, Tony Khan announced today that All In is going to be available on ITV and ITV4 in the UK replay. So everyone in Britain, if they want, can watch All In for free on television.
Idea. Yeah, on delay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so you get that might be a pretty good strategy for getting it in people's heads for next year.
Yeah.
Yep. But back to the Wrestle Dream thing, it's I've seen a number of different opinions on it, and my first impression of this announcement was it feels kind of weird. Like, I really honestly thought I had read at first that this was going to be in Japan, not Seattle. And it was going to be a New Japan. It would be like New Japan's version of Forbidden Door for them. And that's completely wrong, obviously. It's an AEW show tributed to Inoki. And, we all understand Tony Khan's history of fandom with New Japan, and Inoki is a big star, one of the biggest stars wrestling's ever had. Like, I get all that. That's a nice gesture. It just seems very strange for an American promotion to do such a thing. It's out of the ordinary. Honestly, my initial reaction was kind of like, this feels weird and predatory, kind of in a weird way. Then after the news kind of settled, I kind of realized it's kind of dumb to think that way. But I can't discount the initial thought that I had. Now, what's the status of like a New Japan and Stardom involvement? Because Bushi Road, connection to Inoki in some whatever fashion or another that you can think. Stardom comes up naturally in conversation just because of the parent company. But in terms of that time frame, look, Stardom's got its Grand Prix that weekend. they're not getting big stars for that show.
Right.
Stardom's going to be busy. And New Japan has a Korakuen Hall in which they've already announced most of their stars for that particular show. What that involvement could pertain to AEW remains in the air. I'm more along the lines of, if anyone's going to be involved with that show from these companies, that it's going to be more undercard type wrestlers, mid-card, that don't need to be on these bigger shows. So kind of take... And I think that's okay. I think that's totally fine. New Japan and Stardom do not run on AEW's schedule, right? It's not their responsibility to be available for another company.
Right.
What do you think about this Wrestle Dream?
Remains to be seen. I don't know. It is very soon. We're doing 2 pay-per-views back to back, and now we have another one coming up in...
Sure.
And then we'll have to build to Full Gear out of there too. So, I don't know. I think you're right about the business side of it. Adding another pay-per-view, sounds like the company is healthy and they're going to draw. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from it at all. It's, Wrestle Dream sounds like a very Japanese pay-per-view.
Right? Yeah. Especially since a lot of the Stardom pay-per-views have the word dream in it.
Yeah.
Because they're playing off
Dragongate
AJW past.
then,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
I will give some thoughts because this goes into our AEW All Out preview we're gonna do, since the entire All In review, which again, go check out on the Patreon. I really massively enjoyed it. We got a few new subscribers just off that review alone. So that was nice to see. Thank you all for joining. We're not the biggest. We're not like Voices of Wrestling or anything out here with a huge Patreon, but it's nice to see new subscribers and new comments and feedback and all that. So the All In thing was a lot of fun. I love doing that with you, Rickee. Look forward to All Out coming in this weekend. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you signed up this month, you're getting the 5-star Grand Prix every day. That's a grind to do. You're getting LLPW, Pure J, and live reactions of 2 AEW pay-per-views. I would say the $5 goes a long, long way. With a lot of audio content.
This month for sure.
Yeah. So
especially
watched so I brought up the Wrestle Dream first for a point that we're going to make when we get to the All Out preview. When it came to Dynamite and post All In, it did come out that travel issues, the hurricane in Florida, some illnesses that were coming on from the international travel. I get all that. No problem. Okay. Adjustments need to be made. I was very adamant and opinionated over I think the poor job in 2023 AEW has done in its adjustments to various things, mostly when it comes to injuries and booking. It's been a theme of the year. When it comes to All Out, and particularly, I think they handled the Dynamite well, because those are last-minute changes.
Sure.
And a lot of people are understanding when you come out and say, look, due to illness and travel, okay, things come up. That's fine. What I got an issue with is what has become of this All Out card. And I don't buy you only have a week to build it up. No, that you're doing this event months and months in advance.
It's known for months, yeah.
And really, a lot of these injuries people bring up, whether it's Bryan Danielson, look, that took place at Forbidden Door. That's back in June at this point.
We've known.
Jamie Hayter, she's been out since essentially February, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And those are just the top 2 that come to mind, right? Of injury related. There's no reason to keep listing off people.
Yep.
When I watched that Dynamite last night, it really reminded myself of what makes me enjoy AEW and what makes me not. What
Okay.
makes me enjoy AEW is the good matches and strong promos and things that you can clearly see in the future. And I'm going to point to that
Mhm.
Moxley Orange Cassidy thing. That is a match
Mm.
we've felt like and has been built up over a decent amount of time. Those are some loud crickets. Holy crap. Wow.
I can't hear them.
Okay, good. Maybe my audio can hear them, but the Orange Cassidy Moxley thing feels hot. It feels important. Makes the title
Yes.
feel important. Orange Cassidy's run has felt important. People have had conversations on when he should lose it. Maybe he shouldn't lose it. That is what makes, to me, AEW good, and that's what we're used to as fans over the last number of years with this promotion.
Mhm.
Then you
Mhm.
look at something like what's happened with the World title, the ROH TV title, even the tag titles to an extent. Now you're left with questions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Rickee, what'd you think of Dynamite the other night?
Wasn't my favorite,
Okay.
but I'm not hypercritical of it because of all of the things that we know that went on backstage, as far as like people not being able to appear and all that. It didn't feel. I thought the go home show to All In was one of the best go home shows ever for All Elite Wrestling.
Actually, yeah, that might check out because a lot of the quote unquote go home shows,
Mm-hmm.
the TV before the pay per view for AEW, they have a history of it being kind of a throwaway show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that show worked. Really worked. Built the hype, built angles, made the show feel big. When I sat down Sunday morning to watch that show, even before I turned on the TV, it felt like a big deal. Before I took in the stadium and everything. So this show had the challenge of being a Fallout pay-per-view and a go-home show, which I don't think it accomplished either goal or like did a great job of either one. Like a Fallout from a pay-per-view, usually you kind of like recap a little, reset, and build new feuds for the future. But because this had to also build to a show coming up in a week, there wasn't so much of a reset as it was just kind of a
Continuation.
yeah. The matches were good. Like there's good wrestling.
Right.
So that's good.
Yeah. So let's get into the card for All Out here. We've known about the Luchasaurus Darby Allin match for a couple weeks and the Miro Powerhouse Hobbs singles match for a couple weeks here. That's like fine. So the weird thing is, like, in a vacuum, these matches are totally fine, right? I think the bigger issue and the bigger expectation a lot of fans have, including myself, is this is All Out. This is, to me, one of the... When it comes to AEW, they have 4 pay-per-views a year. Now they have the All In and Forbidden Door. Okay. But these 4 have always felt like the biggest events of the year for the company. And going into this show, it doesn't feel that way. And it's really indicative of how this company's been booked, I think, all year. And the lack of kind of direction up and down, the card. So I can kind of point to, I think the sole exception on this card is Moxley Orange Cassidy. I think that's been good the entire step of the way, which is also why I think that should main event. Do you agree with that?
Yes, that's what I was going to say when we were setting up before and, kind of getting into this. That's exactly what I was going to say, was that that should be the main event, especially if we're not getting a world title or a real world title defense.
Real world. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Supposedly that was going to be the initial main event was.
Yeah.
And that's an example. So, okay. I got to bring this up then. I'm going to divert here. Okay. So
Okay.
Punk's suspended, so's Perry. Altercation, blah blah blah. We discussed that at all, like live reaction, all in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real issue with having a fake title be a main event of one of your main pay-per-views.
Yeah. Not that Ricky Starks doesn't deserve to be in that slot. That belt doesn't deserve to be in that slot. That belt shouldn't exist, and we've talked about this kayfabe-wise. People should be more mad that it does exist.
Right. So that's a huge issue. My other issue is a lot of these kind of hearsay written in, this is what was supposed to be. Okay, fine, whatever. I really don't buy a lot of that as a valid excuse as to what ends up being put on screen at such a consistent rate with this company lately. And if if it's to be believed and that's how you're critiquing the company, okay, you're more than welcome to do that. What I'm seeing on screen right now is Ricky Starks is now being pivoted to a possible 60-plus-year-old Ricky Steamboat match.
He's 70.
No. He's 70 now?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or close to it, yes. He's 70.
So I got a problem with that.
Sure.
While a lot of members on your roster could fill that void, like, I don't know, Hangman Page is a very popular scapegoat for this reason. Right?
Mhm.
What's he doing?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go on the women's division side, what's Athena doing?
What is Athena doing?
Right. The list goes on. Okay? I'll use those two as prime examples rather than just continuously listing names.
Yep.
So we both agree, Cassidy Moxley, that's good. No issue. Well, who do you think should win? How about that? That's a fun one.
I don't know.
Who do you want to win?
I don't know. I've been thinking about this. Don't know. I think
I'll fill the void then.
Moxley. I think Moxley will win. I don't know if that's what I want or not. Orange's run has been so good, but I don't think. I think if he loses, not like he's going to be off our TVs for very long, just long enough to miss him. So I don't know. We'll see.
If you were asking me this question last year or the last 2 years, to me, the story is very obvious based on what's played out over the last number of weeks. Cassidy's beat up. He's broken. He's tired. He even said it in his promo, right?
Right.
He's very motivated to continue and beat Moxley. The feud with the Best Friends and the BCC over the last couple months has been solid, very much enjoyable. Moxley would beat Orange Cassidy, carry this international title, keep it very prestigious, and it bumps up a notch because of the Cassidy run and it headlining this pay-per-view. And now you have one of your biggest stars also holding it. Really legitimizes this title, okay? Cassidy just beat Claudio, pinned him in the ring at All In.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
you have a Ring of Honor pay-per-view in X amount of time, or Wrestle Dream. There's a Ring of Honor title match right there, and you essentially have Cassidy lose up in a quote-unquote fashion. Right?
Yeah.
And it continues to play into that story.
That makes sense to me.
Makes total sense in the world. With the company now, I'm not so confident they're going to go in any direction remotely relating to that. I'd like to be proven wrong.
Yeah. He is the right type of champ to lose up as you say. I think that type of booking does work.
Yeah, we've seen it with New Japan in a way for the last decade.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
So Luchasaurus, Darby Allin, I don't know. I'm kind of the same thing with Miro Hobbs. I'm kind of just like these are undercard pay-per-view type matches.
Mhm.
I'm more interested in what Christian Cage is doing.
Yep.
In this side, I'd like to see more involvement with Swerve in this story, etc., etc.
Mhm.
When it comes to Miro Powerhouse Hobbs, I couldn't care less. Both guys have been booked in squash matches for months. It doesn't feel hot. I'm sure the match might be fine. I'm not confident in Miro in this day and age right now.
Okay.
We just haven't seen him enough. He hasn't done anything.
Sure.
Statlander Ruby Soho, it's the sole women's match because God knows it's just impossible. Impossible, Rickee, to possibly book 2 women's matches on a main card. That's just
the world title. The world title is not on the pay-per-view.
Why would it be?
The women's world title.
Why would it be?
Literally, they have a brand new... Oh, my God.
No. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's too late. And honestly, do you really want to see a Saraya singles match?
No, I think we dived into that on our all-in.
It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose situation. Statlander should retain, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I agree.
Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita. Okay. I think the match is going to be amazing, barring some sort of, like, TNA fuck finish type shit. Okay? Assuming that doesn't happen, the match should be out of this world, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yep.
However, I have a problem.
What's your problem?
It feels a lot more cold than it should be. Because Takeshita has been off TV so often this summer since his heel turn, and Omega has been essentially on ice. Now, I don't really understand where this comes from other than just people's theories and trying to theorize why Omega has been consistently off TV and since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, right? Because they're waiting for contracts and all that. I was like, I don't know. Just tell me he's on vacation or something. That's fine too. Yeah. But this should have been a lot more hot than it is now, and all it takes is a little TV time. And the effort was not put in, and then for that finish it all in to be the roll-up and the way it went down, I don't think it was good enough. So, saying that, I think Omega should win.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah.
As you collect your thoughts.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Here's why. Because it feels cold, and Takeshita needs to get some heat back, and the way modern wrestling kind of works in a weird way these days is Konosuke Takeshita's so good, and people still like him as a wrestler and want to see him win. Don Callis gets the heat. He can keep that, right?
Right.
Need to somehow get heat on Takeshita, and to me, him losing would get fans on his side, but having Omega beat him will keep Omega where he's at. Okay. And then the story will be, can Takeshita beat Omega? And it'll be now clear on our screen rather than just the headcanon of student-teacher.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I had in my brain was the kind of, he is the more senior, more experienced guy. And
right.
I guess you can't beat him yet.
Right. So I think this is a grand opportunity. We have a month to Wrestle Dream, 2 months to Full Gear. I don't care which one you do it at.
Okay.
Takeshita loses this match. Omega proves he's still dominant. And then at the next pay-per-view or in 2 pay-per-views, because you got to fill these cards out somehow, right?
Yeah.
You can build Takeshita up doing bad shit with Don Callis, whether it's in the ring, in the back, I don't care. He's got to be on TV. He's got to beat people. Because one thing he hasn't done, he hasn't beaten anybody.
Right.
Not really. Not truly. Like 1, 2, 3 in the middle. Tell me, who has he beat?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's the problem. So if we do this in a month, and he's berating Omega, and Don Callis is cutting promos, and hell, beat a Young Buck in a singles match.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be good.
Yeah, or Takeshita gets a tag partner and they beat the Young Bucks, or whatever. I'm just throwing out like random ideas. I want to see Takeshita get some wins, and it builds up his eventual biggest win over Omega, and that's how you put someone over. If Takeshita beats Omega at All Out, that's still a big win, there's no doubt, on paper, but it won't get him over to the extent to actually have it mean more than it should.
Yep.
Okay. And now I think we've gone kind of more downhill. Bullet Club Gold versus FTR teaming with the Young Bucks. Can they coexist?
Yes, and they'll win the match.
Oh, you think they'll win?
But I think it's going to solidify a heel turn for the Bucks.
Heel Elite this soon?
No, not heel Elite, just heel Bucks.
Okay.
And then, drama between them and the rest. I mean, and then I don't know. Then maybe Hangman can't lean on them, so he leans more on Kenny. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I have no feel for this match.
Soon.
This feels like a match that would be on Collision, setting something up for the pay-per-view rather than a pay-per-view match. Eddie Kingston, Shibata against the BCC duo of Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Straight out of a Ring of Honor show, I guess.
It's a Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's a Ring of Honor match.
Very weird.
That's it. That is just a Ring of Honor match. Is Shibata still the pure champion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't matter who wins this.
Nope.
I don't know. With the way AEW's going, they'll probably just set up yet another Kingston Claudio like Ring of Honor title match, which I'm kind of over it. I'd rather see them have. I'll tell you this. I'd rather them do that. I'd rather do a Claudio Cassidy Ring of Honor title match. Cassidy wins, and then they pivot fully into Claudio Eddie blood feud.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Because you can keep Kingston Claudio going as long as they can. I mean, they're clearly extending it, while Cassidy would maintain staying very hot in that sense.
Yeah, and then
I just don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to do the more. I really think a lot of AEW right now is just lazy booking.
Yeah. To make up with the best.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
Oh, I said, and Yuta at some point has to make up with the best friends, right? Like whether it's
does he
in a year or 3 years. I think so. That's what my heart wants.
I don't know.
It's what I want.
I'd rather see Yuta go at it with like Daniel Garcia and those types of guys.
Yeah, I want to see them go at it too. I'm just saying he needs to make amends with the best friends at some point.
Okay. Totally random match on this thing. Shane Taylor against Samoa Joe for the ROH TV title.
It's literally a TV title. TV title.
Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know. They didn't explain it on TV. If you're one of the like 5 people watching Ring of Honor TV, there was apparently a tournament
Yes.
on Honor Club, and
Yes.
no match went over 7 minutes. Most of them were about 5, right?
Yep.
And let me tell you, this is not a who's who of people to be on
No.
an AEW pay-per-view. When you got
No.
Serpentico and Cheeseburger in your brackets, no good. No good to me. I'm glad I'm seeing Samoa Joe on a pay-per-view, but
Mhm.
and I'm not the biggest Shane Taylor fan. I don't have an issue with the guy, but there's so many guys not on this card nor were on the All In card that I'm just really confused over. Like the like a lot of these matches, I do not understand the true purpose of it.
So we still okay. There's one more match to discuss, and then I have thoughts before we wrap up the All Out discussion. So the last match that we didn't touch on was MJF and Adam Cole.
Oh.
Versus the winner of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Battle Royal, which has been taped, but at the time of recording, this show has not aired yet. So I think by the time it goes out, it will have aired. So I think I can safely say this with no spoilers. No spoiler warning. It will be MJF and Adam Cole versus Alex Reynolds and John Silver of the Dark Order.
Yes, the Beaver Boys.
My Beaver Boys.
Okay, we're both fans of the Beaver Boys. Beyond Wrestling, all that.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is this match?
Okay. I was thinking about it, and I was surprised that they were the winners when I heard it. But then I remembered how great they were in that All Out Trios match last year. That Trios match was one of my matches of the year. And it tore the house down. And I think they are very capable of having a very strong pay-per-view match.
I don't doubt the quality of the Beaver Boys to deliver a good match. Okay. I do worry about the drama that Cole and MJF are going to do. I do worry about that, especially with my opinion of what's going on.
Well,
I have a bigger issue with essentially a jobber team. Okay? That this could have been on a Rampage and could have tore the house down at 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock, or whatever time zone you watch it in. And I would not have had any problem with that. And I would have been like, cool, what's the real pay-per-view match? And when I heard like the Tony Khan emergency break glass, small bracket, and battle royal stipulation for title challengers has to stop. Usually I don't have an issue with these things. I like tournaments. This is getting ridiculous with this promotion.
And are we going to get a tournament with more than 8 people?
Right. Exactly. If you got all this
not
TV time, right? It's not right. It's not a tournament. It's like, anyways. So I'm watching Dynamite. Okay, this is where like a collection of thoughts came. I'm watching Dynamite. Okay. Cole's out there cutting his promo where he might as well kiss Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong is worried. So the Kingdom's out there, and I go, oh, because what did I say on the All In review? Sure looks like Adam Cole MJF against the Kingdom, ROH tag titles, plays into the story, makes sense. Not really what I want. It doesn't knock my socks off to an extent, but I was like, okay, that makes sense. So they announced this Battle Royal, and then the Kingdom aren't even in it. I'm like, really what are we doing? Dumb. And so I see Aussie Open. I'm like, oh, is this going to be Aussie Open's like actual big match to have with Cole and MJF and get some like credibility back? Well, they don't win either. So now I'm kind of aggravated at Aussie Open getting essentially buried the way they did. As far as I'm concerned, they're buried now. There's going to be some rehab to do.
Yeah.
So what are we doing with the world champion of this promotion with, and to top that off with the rumor that CM Punk, the fake champion, was going to actually headline. things are not aligning right now, and I'm quite irritated.
Yeah. I hadn't pieced that all together, but I understand your frustration. Yeah, I sure do. That makes a lot of sense. Yep. I don't have a lot to add because that is justifiable. Yeah.
I'll put it another way. For perspective. Okay?
Okay.
New Japan runs a schedule of their own with like New Beginning in Hiroshima and then New Beginning in, I don't know, Osaka. Back-to-back days, right? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And New Beginning in Hiroshima might have a Naito Intercontinental title defense as your main event. A la, for comparison purposes, Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley. International title.
Okay.
And then you'll have a, I don't know, Big Jay White versus, top of my head, I don't know, Hiroki Goto. Work with me here. Semi-main event, big singles match with future implications for someone getting a push up the card. Okay? A la your Omega Takeshita match. Okay?
Sure.
Then when you go from there, there's a tag title match maybe underneath that. Maybe you have a nice, good singles match again, or a big tag. You get the similarity of the card structure here. And then you fill out the rest of the card with Young Lions, 6-man tags, and the like. I'm saying this card is closer to a New Beginning in Hiroshima Day 1 card. While when you look at the New Beginning Day 2 in Osaka, where it draws more, you have the world title match in the main event. You have an even bigger semi-main event. Like, it goes up a notch on the second day.
Yeah.
Well, there is no second day. This is AEW All Out. One of your annual biggest shows of the year. When CM Punk returned, this was your biggest buy rate pay-per-view you've ever had. And now we're looking at this in 2023, and I'm comparing it to a Day 1 February New Japan show after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't think that's acceptable. And I don't buy do you remember a lot of the conversations, whether it was on Twitter or the like, where, well, you can't burn off all your matches for All In, you have to have some for All Out. Well, they're not even doing that, so that's completely gone. That reasoning. Right. And I never bought it in the first place because this is on the card. I've seen companies many times over the last 3 years make back-to-back nights or pay-per-views within a week or 2 weeks of it. Like, It can be done. You just plan it out. Nothing. Yep. There's so much of this that just does not seem planned out. If you had it planned out, you're not doing Adam Cole MJF against the Beaver Boys on pay-per-view. You're not doing that. So what are we doing? I'm excited for a number of matches on the card, but when you piece it all together, I'm very annoyed and aggravated as a fan.
Yeah, it's difficult because I haven't been anticipating this show at all. But then when I look at it, I'm like, these matches are going to slap. Like, I'm not questioning the quality of wrestling that we're going to see at all. But that's not the only reason why we watch wrestling. We watch it for the stories and the drama, and it hasn't been there.
Yeah, I was listening back to a part of the All In review, and I said this company is so lucky that the roster is accumulated the way it is, and they're so motivated, and they'll go out and kill it all the time. And they're allowed to do that. That's the grand saving factor of AEW to me right now. Is I can look up and down this card and say, yes, every match should be good. Minimum.
Yeah. I
have no doubt about that.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get some more swerves and things. Okay, so this is what I was going to say earlier before we started talking about this match. So first of all, Beaver Boys, Dark Order are turning more heel lately, or at least they're turning back into like what Dark Order kind of was before, and when Brody was still with us, it kind of turned into a joke.
Right.
But after Brody's death, I mean, they had to turn face. They were faces. They're immediately beloved.
Sure.
So and they have had great matches. Like I said, they had one of the best matches of the night on last year's All Out. But so they are turning more heel. So that's going to be the face heel dynamic of that tag match, with Adam Cole and MJF as the baby faces. But like you said, we also have coming up on Collision, which we haven't seen yet. We have Ricky Starks calling out Ricky Steamboat, supposedly for a strap match to be on the pay-per-view card. I don't see Ricky Starks, a 70-year-old, Ricky Steamboat at 70, wrestling a strap match on a pay-per-view. I'm assuming someone else is going to come out and
I sure hope
say,
so.
stop this madness. And
I like, as much as I'm a huge Ricky Steamboat fan and I've seen fucking hundreds of his matches, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023. I have no desire to see a 70 or almost 70-year-old man go in there on pay-per-view.
Right.
In a prominent match that apparently is just impossible to get on these cards for these roster members, right? It took 3.5 years or 4 years for Emi Sakura to just get on Dynamite again.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. So that's something else that's going to be added to the card on Saturday. I'm wondering if they're going to add another match or two, and some of the matches we've already discussed.
I don't think it matters.
I
don't think it matters whether they add some or not. My feelings don't change on it. Let's say they add a Soraya match last minute, or they add the supposed rumor of Athena versus Billy Starks to the 0 Hour. I was like, we just saw that 0 Hour same match at Forbidden Door. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. We did just see it.
Like, I saw that live, and I was like, okay, it was fine. I get it, but...
Yeah. So noticeably absent from the card, though, Hangman Page.
Oh, well, of course.
Jericho.
He's got Brian Keith on Rampage, though. He's got time for that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And man, the way my timeline exploded when they announced Brian Keith versus Hangman Man. People are psyched for that match. So hopefully, and I know Tony does pay attention to social media, so hopefully he understands how excited people are to see him on our televisions. He is noticeably absent from the card. Jericho is not on the card. Women's World Title is not on the card. So no Tony, no Britt. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Women being absent from AEW cards doesn't, like, it's expected, right? The absolute bare minimum is expected.
Right, but I'm just saying they are noticeably absent. No Britt Baker. When is the last pay-per-view that hasn't had a Britt Baker match?
It's been quite some time.
Yeah.
Been quite some time.
Has there ever been one without a Britt Baker match?
Well, was she injured for one of them?
Oh, maybe. But you get my point.
Yeah. All right. So all outs this weekend. Live reaction, Patreon. Patreon.com/RedLeaf Retrocast. $5 tier. Go join. Time to lose our minds reviewing Nitro. Here we go. Oh boy. Playing this drop. It's loading up the horrible 1999-2000 intro music. Here it goes. All right. January 17th, 2000 from Columbus, Ohio. 10,000 people in the arena here. Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, Bobby Keenan on comms to completely bury the show as we watch it.
Yep.
I did not get the chance to do any like observer reading over the backstage politics at the time.
Okay.
So I'll probably do that like in my free time afterwards. But surprisingly, I didn't like hate the show with a burning passion, and I have the strangest of feelings that Vince Russo is not currently in WCW in the back at this point in time after Sold Out, because this is the post Sold Out 2000 show. And because I say that because this did not feel like a Vince Russo show to the T.
So bad though.
Well, it was still bad, but it was like coherent in a way. There was like,
let's dive in because I don't agree at all.
Oh, you don't agree? Okay. Well, then we begin with a complete like recap of all the bullshit that happened at Sold Out 2000, one of the worst pay-per-views you'll ever see in your life, where people didn't show up, people no-showed, people got pulled off the card due to concussions, just a host of just nonsense and mess. And now, the Radicals are on their way to the WWF. All of them have essentially walked out and left the company because of a backstage like threat from WCW personnel to Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit, who had won the title the night before. It is now vacated because we get this Arn Anderson promo of him going, "Well, I'm a shitty referee. I respect the business and what they do now." He recaps like the ropes and the rope breaks of both men. How he didn't, how he caught Benoit's but didn't catch Sid Vicious, and we said that on the pay-per-view. Like, okay,
but
all right.
It was a good promo, great promo from Arn.
Great explanation for a disaster of a situation that they put on themselves.
Yeah.
The problem with that is the problem with that is apparently Arn Anderson can just like make a title vacate.
No. I don't. Okay, so again, here's the thing about coherency, right? Nash on the pay-per-view already said, enjoy your time with the title at midnight. It's not going to be yours anymore.
But that's not the explanation of Nash stripping him.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That it's not coherent or cohesive.
Right, I'm saying it's not coherent. There's problems there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, okay, maybe I misspoke or didn't make it clear. When I say coherent, I was like, just how the like card played out on the show, not like the stories or anything.
Yeah, there's a difference between coherent and cohesive. That's why I changed my language.
Okay, yeah. All right, then the language I used was poor. I apologize.
Okay.
So we get all that. NWO arrives. Kevin Nash is now the commissioner of WCW because power just changes in this company just willy-nilly. Right?
But the show actually opened with in-ring action.
It did. Kidman and Psychosis right then and there.
Yeah.
And
it's fine.
It was a fine little, 6-minute match?
It was fine. 7.
Oh, my God. What a marathon these two went on Nitro in 2000.
It was so it opened with an in-ring action. When it started, I kind of forgot that Kidman had been on the pay-per-view. I was like, okay, that's a weird way to start the show when so many things from the pay-per-view were left hanging and open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
But I love when wrestling shows start in the ring and they just dive in and do some wrestling. Then they did all of the explanation stuff. So that part was good. That's the only nice thing I'm going to say about the show, probably.
Okay, so Kidman wins.
That and Arn's promo.
Let's see. And then... Oh, wow. The review I'm reading for the detail recap says Kidman against Psychosis was the best WCW match they've had since November. That was at Mayhem.
Yikes.
Ooh. Let's see here. Terry Funk got beaten up last night for what he believed in and what a real man does.
Brutalized,
So he is
brutalized.
You know, never you mind, he's been beaten up like every week since he became commissioner. The NWS put this man in the dirt. Almost literally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. We have a recap of title holders. Okay. All right. Back to the locker room. We get a Booker T promo talking about his brother, Stevie Ray, and Big T. Back in the day, Big T no good. He no good for you. Not my brother. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So then they cut to Stevie Ray in the ring with Big T. And Stevie Ray calls him the best insult and catchphrase going on right now. Crackerjack fruit booty.
Oh my God.
Come on, that pops you every time, doesn't it?
I don't know. There was a lot of bleeps on this one for me.
Really? I mean, Scott
my
Steiner
feed
gets
was
bleeped,
edited. Yeah, there was a lot of bleeping going on, so I don't know if I caught all of that.
Okay. Well, Stevie Ray is calling everyone fruit booties. It's over.
Okay.
Crackerjack, sad sack. Everyone's a fruit booty.
Okay.
Are you familiar with who Big T is exactly?
No, I was going to ask. I have no idea who he is.
All right. So he is a WWF wrestler that Vince McMahon really wanted to push. You know, big athletic ex-football player. The problem is he got injured all the time. Okay. And I don't remember if he had a lot of like backstage issues or not, but they stopped trusting him. Contract went out.
Okay.
Now he's in WCW. And of course he's immediately put with the other black people on the show.
Sure.
You know, what? Gotta do it. You couldn't possibly do anything else. Anyways. So Stevie Ray cuts a really funny promo. I actually kind of like it. Big T looks menacing. He's huge. Booker T comes out on request, and Stevie Ray, from the bottom of his heart, says, I will forgive him if he apologizes and, you know, good. I actually thought this was good. The problem is, I don't want to see Stevie Ray ever wrestle in the ring. So, Booker T is mad, starts throwing fists, and then for some reason Nick Patrick comes out, who doesn't even like look remotely the same anymore. That's the referee. They just ring the bell, and it's Booker T and Big T in a match randomly, and Big T just kicks his ass.
Street clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very strange.
Yeah.
I was very confused.
So not the worst thing in the world, but and then they beat up Booker T in the match. I mean, it still feels hot, I guess, in the relative sense of WCW 99.
Okay.
No? You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I mean, relative. Yes, I guess in the relative sense.
Okay. All right. Come on, we gotta work with what we got here.
Yep.
Vampiro versus Disco Inferno.
The fuck was this?
It was a bad match. That's what it was.
Was this? It was not a match.
Sure it was.
I mean,
come on. It went a whole 3 minutes.
4 minutes. Yeah. Almost 4. Yeah, I have no notes.
Okay.
I mean,
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Oh, the recap review says Russo is temporarily gone from the show. There you go. I knew it. I knew
Impressive.
it. Okay.
Impressive.
Scott Steiner is with Kevin Nash, and he has some fucking hot women for him. Oh, baby. Woo! Ooh, get the coyote things going. Come on.
Woohoo.
Skanky women, Rickee. 1999, 2000. Come on. Woo!
Yep. They were there.
Yeah, Kevin Nash got her to bend over, and they're like, and he looks at her. He's, come on. Not into that? Not into the...
I mean, I'm all about hot women, but I mean, to me, this is not attractive. So, but I understand what they're telling us. Anyway,
Ooh, they have names apparently.
the women.
Yeah.
There was the one in the white strapless dress. She was blonde, and then there
There's
was
one
the
in red.
in, yeah. No, one in black, one in white, one in black. I don't remember the other one. The one in the white stuck out to me. That was the
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Anyway, wait, what are their names?
I really laughed when Scott Steiner goes to one of the women and he goes, "You want to play Twister?" And she goes, "I love Twister." And then Kevin Nash kind of looks over and goes, "Twister?
Oh my god!
I can't bend that way."
Oh my goodness! My goodness!
We cut to the ring. 3 Count is here for a boy band performance in which the camera cuts away and we don't see a second of it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad they named them either during the performance or after the performance. Have we seen them before? Or is this a new act on the show?
So we saw them for a split second randomly, I think in like late December. And then we hadn't seen them since, so I assume they've just been hanging out on like Thunder and Saturday Night and that kind of stuff. Yeah, you remember Evan Courageous was with Medusa and doing that wacky nonsense storyline, and as soon as like Mayhem was over, he was a boy band guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Excuse me.
Really get you going for this David Flair crowbar match with 3 Count.
Again, not a match.
No, it went. It also went 3 minutes. Totally a match. How dare you? How dare you? Crowbar
I'm the worst.
gets the win.
Yeah, he sure does.
Okay.
Goodness. Okay. But at least during the boy band performance, commentary was carrying it. So.
Kevin Nash in the back again. He asked the ladies to leave because he's got NWO business. He needs to get rid of the old age outlaws, even though only Arn Anderson was on the show for a little bit. And
he also took 3 or 4 tries to get the words old age outlaws out of his mouth.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. Yep. Tank Abbott knocks out Maestro in like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That was my favorite match of the show.
Oh, it was your favorite? It was 13 seconds, actually. How about that?
That's a joke, but I did enjoy it. Obviously not as much as the opening match.
Okay. For some reason, Norman Smiley came out, and then Tank Abbott like stares him down. I don't really know why.
Yeah, I don't know. And then
oh boy.
Okay. Then there's Here we go. Here's why this show sucks.
Oh. Come on. You didn't like the 1,000 year Kevin Nash segment of berating everyone and cracking jokes?
Okay. I love Kevin Nash.
Oh, do
I
you?
love me some big sexy.
Okay.
Oh. He is big and sexy. Like
I prefer Sid Vicious drinking Surge.
I love me some Kevin Nash, but whoo boy.
You best get used to this Kevin Nash. This is who you're gonna see.
This is rough. Okay, so the entire locker room empties into the ring. So Kevin Nash can address the roster and talk about the regime change. Acting new commissioner. It's all hot garbage.
Oh, come on. All of it?
It's all like meant to be funny, like heelish and comedic. And none of it comes across. No one's laughing.
Oh, come on.
No one is laughing. He's going to require rectal exams. No one laughs. He's going to confiscate any illegal substances, including everyone's Viagra. No one laughs.
Okay, so Rickee, not a fan of the butt jokes.
No.
Penis jokes, not funny. Okay, got it. All right.
No.
Didn't
They
land.
are funny if they're delivered properly.
I don't know.
And if the crowd reacts.
Professional comedian Kevin Nash. I just maybe your funny bone isn't working. I think that's what's happening here. Yeah. for sure.
It's me. You're right. It's me.
It's
I'm the
I
reason.
think it's definitely you.
I'm the reason.
You're not giving Kevin
I didn't
Nash
like this segment.
a chance. Yes, because he starts off, and I can't believe you didn't get this prime comedy out of the way first. He starts naming the Harris brothers. Okay, right? And he praises himself, and he goes, Mike Tenay, I'm going to give you a personality. And Brian Knobbs, you need a brain. And Tank Abbott, you need a heart. And Norman Smiley, you need courage. And he goes, I sound like Oz up here. You know, Wizard of Oz, and his character before he was Kevin Nash and Diesel was Oz? No?
See, I didn't know that. That went over my head.
See, if you would have known that, you would have just been in stitches. Rolling on the floor laughing. Raffled, as the kids say. Yeah, for sure. Okay. U.S. champion has been stripped. Another vacated title.
Yeah, oh my god. Okay.
Jeff Jarrett has the title back.
He just hands it to him.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to win it back. He's just like, here, this is yours.
Absolutely fair.
Sorry, bro.
I understand.
Sorry,
it's
bro.
well within his right. He is the commissioner.
Fine.
Yeah. What, you don't think he has the power and the right? Rickee, I'm getting the sense that you are not enjoying this Kevin Nash power regime.
No, but it's doing what it's supposed to do, I guess. Bullshit.
I'm not so sure I believe you.
I'm saying right now, like, maybe this is just heel shit, and I'm not.
You will call him Lord Master. That's what Kevin Nash demands out of you. You will not look him in the eye either. You'll keep your head down.
Okay.
And he will decide what the world title state will be now that it's vacated at a later date. He'll let you know. So don't worry about that. Okay? It's only the world title. It's been vacated like 6 times in 4 months. Whatever. So he books a main event. Buff Bagwell against DDP again. Because if you bought the pay-per-view, you sure just didn't feel like you got your money ripped off from you. Now that you get to see the same match on TV with supposedly a better angle.
Special referee. With a special referee.
Kimberly is the special ref, and he's got a special outfit for her, Rickee.
Oh, I was so nervous. Oh my god, I was so nervous.
And he sticks his tongue out, and he's like, blah.
Yeah. It was not as bad as I had envisioned.
No, it was just a ref shirt, like tied up just from the belly. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. It was fine. It was fine. Oh my god, I was so nervous.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder what she's gonna come out in, like a G-string,
God, I was so nervous.
Okay, so we got NWO Team 2000 from New Japan Wrestling. I shit you not, we had this is in 2000. This is Masahiro Chono and Jeff Farmer, which commentary says, do you remember NWO Fake Sting? That's him! Against
I don't know what
the
that means.
Fucking Varsity Club.
Yep.
Rick Steiner and Rotunda. IRS. Yep. Oh my god, this was bad.
It was so bad and so long for a WCW match.
How long was this fucking thing?
9 minutes.
9 minutes! Oh god. And just an awkward fucking finish. Awkward so post-match where like Chono's like looking around going, what? And then he just beat him up. And they leave.
Yeah. I just got sad watching this match though, watching Mike Rotunda wrestle and knowing he's still with us and his son is not, made me really sad.
Wow.
The match was terrible. It was fucking garbage.
So bad. Well, a not so bad match was Sid Vicious against The Wall, mostly because it went like 2 minutes and Sid Vicious chokeslams him, pins him, all while it mostly kind of cuts to the back. I was like weirdly into this because it's a brawl and then it's just 2 big guys just going at each other. It's a very simple formula. The bar is low, so work. Yeah,
but it did cut back. It cut backstage in the middle of the match, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" Kevin Nash ordered somebody to go out and beat them up.
It
or
was
beat
Disco
Sid up.
Inferno and the stereotypical meatballers.
Italian guys. Yeah.
And you go beat up Sid Vicious for me right now. And they go, yes, sir. And then Sid Vicious just pummels them one by one. So mission accomplished.
Sure.
Total package, that's Lex Luger, for those that are keeping up, is against Bam Bam Bigelow. They're referencing the Sting thing. Nothing comes of it. They have, I guess, a match. It's not very good. Goes 3 minutes.
During the entrance.
Entrance was longer than the match.
Yeah, what's his face? The drunk Bobby Heenan wouldn't shut up about Elizabeth, and then look at the yams on her.
Yeah, I mean, he's seen so many yams tonight between what's her name, Miss Leia Meow in the varsity.
Oh, the cheerleader. Yeah.
But yeah, Miss Elizabeth is like the most tame. She has the most tame yams on the show.
True. Look at the yams.
I'm
gonna start calling them yams from now on. I don't know, but
where does the term yams even come from?
Don't care. I'm using it.
Where
co-opted
does yams
for boobs
as boobs come from?
Oh, well, it's like Kaz always talks about nuts, and he calls it yam bag.
Yeah, he calls it the yam bags.
Yam bags. Yeah, that's what yams. I would consider yams to be more of
like nut sacks, right?
Than a boob thing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, now that I'm mentioning it. Yeah. Oh, what'd you find?
It's a slang term for Italians in modern culture to be referred to a woman's buttocks or hips. Huh.
I've heard like gams.
I've heard gams and hams, but not yams.
Hams, but not yams. Yeah.
Okay, we're learning slang, I guess, today.
Okay. How else can we objectify women?
Well, Diamond Dallas Page and Buff Bagwell with Kimberly's yams out there. Look, they had a street fight. It was kind of the same as their match from the night before, except Kimberly's there, and oh my god, the finish. What the fuck happened?
I don't know. Can you read me some sort of recap? Because I watched it twice, and I still don't understand the finish.
Oh yeah, I rewound it 3 times, and I'm like, I don't know what I just saw. Okay, so Buff Bagwell hits the blockbuster on Diamond Dallas Page. Okay. Page's superplex attempt is countered with a low blow, and now the blockbuster. Okay, here it is. Blockbuster connects. So Buff Bagwell he's like posing for the camera, sort of, and he's about to turn in the top right direction to a downed Diamond Dallas Page, in which then Kimberly takes like a step into Buff Bagwell and does like the arms in the air pratfall, right? And then collapses to the ground. Very weird. It's like she took herself out, but it was so light and just like not connecting. It was the fakest shit you've ever seen in your life, right? So Buff Bagwell then like looks behind him. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?" DDP gets up, hits a diamond cutter, and then Kimberly just counts a slow pin, and then she just bails.
Yeah. So we still don't know whose side she's on.
So because it was so fucked up and weird looking, and then the walkout finish, we're like, wait a minute, hold on. No matter who won last night, and now DDP wins tonight. Like, just like Kevin Nash said in his promo to the crowd, Kimberly, who you fucking?
Wasn't clear. Yeah.
Well, Kimberly, who you fucking, girl? Come on.
Yeah.
All right. So it felt like a wrestling show. Definitely felt like a wrestling show in the year 2000.
Yes.
Is this the best WCW Nitro of the year 2000 so far? Huh?
Crap. Let me go back. Okay, hang on. Let me look at my...
Is it the best Nitro that you've seen so far in this little journey?
Not the best one so far. I don't think so. No. I really did not like this
All right,
episode
name
at
a
all.
Nitro better. I dare you.
I don't know. I'm looking. I mean, the first one I watched, because it was my first one. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, you
maybe
can't
it
name
was the best one.
Yeah.
I'm looking now at my notes.
Yeah.
I'm like, crap.
Lord Master Kevin Nash Commissioner has produced the best Nitro in months.
I mean, no Vince Russo.
Well, this is true. Okay. I think that does it.
Okay.
We're done. Rickee?
Great. I'll see you Sunday.
See ya Sunday.